Hey there everybody, and welcome back to the next video in the updated How to Create a Social or Sharing App playlist. Now, at this point we have created this navigation bar, the post page, and the home page, as well as the My Account page. Now, if you have any questions about any of those topics, the previous videos in the playlist will help you to essentially get caught up to where we are now. So at this point, we are going to create this page here, which is topics. Now, before we do this, we have to explain the logic a bit. Don't skip ahead of this part, because if you want to make any customizations, this is going to be very, very important. So we have the page loaded right here, and this, again, just has this little coffee cup, which is basically all of the topics. Now, I know it's a little bit confusing that I call topics, categories, ratings, and just they're kind of interchanged quite a bit. But the fundamental concept of this is we have topics 1 through 5, categories 1 through 5, and ratings 1 through 5. So I just have 5 each for simplicity's sake. Now, when you click on topics 1 through 5, you'll have another page which has all 5 topics. It's the same thing with categories and ratings. Now you'll see I have topic 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's because there's 15 total, but they're broken into 3 subcategories. So you can name this button, all of these buttons, whatever you want. It doesn't really impact any of the functionality of the app. However, it does impact if you're trying to do any troubleshooting. It can be really easy to get confused. So all you really need to know is in Firebase, we are going to have the same 5 basically categories in each of the 3 subcategories. So what I'm going to point out here is you'll see we have post category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't need to add these. I'm going to show you a little bit of a shortcut on how to kind of populate this database. So we have post category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to have a couple of other categories. So we're going to have up at the top, again, you see it's organized by these 3. So we have post category 1 through 5, post feeling 1 through 5, post topic 1 through 5. And in each of these collections, each of these documents are going to be a post. Now, the general logic here is this URL obviously is not a full URL. In the previous videos, when we've created the actual basically when we've created the post, we have told the system to save this URL, and this is just the last half of the URL. It's the unique identifier for this particular collection, so that we can find this specific document again. You'll notice this post URL here is the exact same as the document, and that's intentional. So in this document, we have a couple of different things, and all of these, you'll notice, correspond to the post page. So when we have the post page, it's sending a bunch of data. So we'll go over that very, very quickly, and then we'll get these pages built out. So when we have this expanded, you'll see we have a make a post page. And when we go to the submit button, because this is going to be kind of crucial to figure out where the data goes, this is what we did in the last video. You'll see that it is sending page var URL ID. Now, in the last video, I shared in the description this content here. Now, one thing to note is if you see right here, it says post URL, and then it's page vars URL ID 1. This is something you're going to need to keep. The rest of it, not necessarily. You can change all these other details, but if you take this part out, it will be almost impossible to find this post again, because again, we're able to basically say, go to this URL, and it'll be a base URL like www.firebase.com, and then we'll identify that particular post this way. So that part you need. So don't mess with this post URL portion. So we will go basically back to our topics page. Now, this is where you're going to need to probably pause the video and try to be a little bit creative. Good news is for this page, there's no complicated page layout logic. So you need to go ahead and figure out how you want this to look. If you want, you can have a make a post button, and all that's going to do is open the page to make a post. We created that in the last video, so all you need to do is link it. I also have it up here just to make it quick and easy to access. And then you're going to need to have buttons for whatever categories. So in this case, you have a couple of options. What I've used here, you'll see we have a couple of choices. You have image list item, large image list item. So you can compare both and see which one works best for you. When I post these two side by side, I personally like the larger one, primarily because I don't need this label here, or the arrow, and it's a little bit bigger. Now, when you add the list item, it functions very similarly, or in a similar way to a button. And what I mean by that is, you'll have the logic right here. So when you click on the list item, and you expand the logic, you can just add in an open page, connect it, and tell it which page to open over here. And this will just be all the pages in your app. So this will require a little bit of work, but what I have done is, first things first, you click on the actual list item, and you can click Edit right here to open up this more advanced editor, or you can double click it, and it'll take you into this editor. So in this particular instance, what I have done is I have this set up, the image source I uploaded into AppGyver to make it load a little bit more quickly. So to do that, you can choose to bind it to a static image, and then you click right here, and you can drag and drop or click here to upload a file. Now, one thing to note is these images are designed to be very small, so I would highly recommend you resize any larger images. I used Paint. The idea is, if you're uploading high-resolution images that are 5 to 10 megabytes, it's going to take longer for the app to load, and it's going to make it a much larger file. So if you ultimately want to make this a mobile app, if you have too many high-resolution images, it's going to be too big to upload to the app stores. So in this case, you could take an image like this, which I got from unsplash.com. I opened it in Paint, and I used the resize option, and I resized it, basically shrunk it by like, I want to say 20-ish%, and it made it a very small percentage of the original size, just so the app's not too big. So in this case, I just chose different images from unsplash.com. If you're using images, just make sure you have the rights to use them, follow any and all applicable rules, laws, guidelines, etc. So you can click you can add in however many of these that you need, and then you can click it and choose the image source. You can paste in a URL or upload a file, or you can actually pull it from a data resource if you want, and then at that point it would just be the URL of the image. You can name the title, which will be this part right here, and then change the description. And if you want to change the color, like I've done up here, you can double click, and then you can go to Style, and then change the background color right here. Now, what we will do is we'll look at mine just to make sure that there's no other special things that I've done. So if you want to edit it, you can go to Style and Edit. And that's where you get the background color. You can change effects if you need to, the rounding, things of that nature. Now, another thing to note is when you go into this editor, you can click on the image and do some advanced editing here. So, for example, we'll scroll through and just show the other options. Most of these you probably won't need, but if you needed to, you can change the style and layout options. Now, in my case, you can copy these if you like the way that it looks, but I have it set, it's custom, so the minimum width is 48, the max width is 88, and it's just set to grow to height. And then when you click it, if you go to layout, you'll see it's just set to grow to full width. Those might be the default options, I'm not quite sure. But one thing is, if you're using different sized images, you want them to be kind of uniform, so that as you see all of these the same size. Otherwise, it's going to look weird if this one's bigger and this one's smaller. So the idea here, go ahead and create these list items, bring them in, customize them, change the color, the title, what they do essentially, or how they look. And then the next couple steps, I can't follow along with you because I don't know what categories you need. So here's how the app is structured at this point. We have the topics 1 through 5. When we click this, it takes us to a new page with the same setup, except there's 5 buttons, one for each of the topics. It is the exact same for categories 1 through 5 and ratings 1 through 5. So in this case, what you're going to need to do is after you've created this topics page with all of these dividers, you're then going to need to create one page per each of these little list items. So the idea is topics 1 through 5. We will then go and you'll see we have a page here called topics 1 to 5. And I have a list divider for each of these. Or I should say a list item. And then this part's a little bit time consuming, but then I have a page for topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4, topic 5. Then we repeat the process, again, a little bit time consuming, but these are much more simple pages to build. And we are going to set it up for the next one. So in this case, we have categories next. So we'll go in here and you'll see we have categories 1 through 5, which is a page. And there are the 5 list items. And then each of those list items will take you to the corresponding pages. So we have category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's the same thing for ratings. So you'll see as we look at all of these pages, we have 1 to 5 ratings, and that's all of these. And then we have 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, and 5 out of 5. So the naming convention helps. In this case, the word topics 1 to 5 is the page that has all 5 topics that are accessible. In this case, it would be this page here. Then we have 1 to 5 ratings, which is the equivalent of that topics page, which has a list of all 5 ratings. And then we have categories 1 to 5, which has all 5 categories. So what you need to go ahead and do is build out those pages based on your specs. So if you're going to follow exactly what I've done, you're going to have 3 categories here, or 3 list items. Each one will take you to a page with 5 additional items. And then that page will take you to another page. So we'll build out those pages together. I just want you to understand the logic. So one more summary and then we'll jump straight in. So in this case, when you click on this cup, it's going to take you to your main page. This main page will have 3 of these basically just list items. When you click on any of these list items, it'll take you to a page with the 5 topics or categories or ratings that are basically related to that item. So in this case, you'll need to create this page here, add these, click on topics 1 to 5, and you'll need to have however many topics you have. And then you're just going to have a page for each topic. So again, we just have topics 1 through 5, which has all 5 listed, and then a page for each of the 5 that we have created. We'll do the same for categories, which is categories 1 to 5, and then a page per category, and then 1 to 5 ratings, and then a page per rating. So relatively simple, it's just a little time consuming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the logic for the first one of each of these, and then you can run with the rest of them because the process is identical. It's just probably one of the more time-consuming parts, unfortunately. All right, so we have this page built out, and again, you're going to want to link everything. So when we go to 1 to 5 topics, in this case, we are going to go to topics 1 to 5, which is our main page. And at this point, you can pause the video and build this page out for yourself. And it's very, very simple. We have these 5 list items. And if we click the first one, all it does is open page topic 1. This one opens page topic 2. This one opens page topic 3. So that's really all that there is to this. And then again, each of these pages is the same. The categories 1 to 5 page opens. This one would open category 1. This one would open category 2. So you have all of those pages essentially set up. Now at this point, when we go to the page itself, this is where we're going to start displaying content. So when we go to topic 1, this page is where we're going to actually start displaying user content. Now, we can't do it just yet until we've actually created some data in our database. So this is where we get to do a little bit of testing. So in this case, we have our sample database here. Now, you should have already set up this post category page. If you haven't, you'll need to go to the last video and do that, because this is where we're actually going to need some sample or dummy data. Now, in this case, I'm going to be pasting data into a specific category. So in this case, I can delete this collection, which you would not normally want to do, but you won't have this already. So I want us to start from the same area. So you'll see post topic 1 is now gone. So what we're going to do is we're going to go create post topic and post category and post feeling 1. So I'm going to delete each of the 3 of these so that you can see that I am officially starting from scratch. So that's post topic 1, and now we just need to delete post feeling 1. And again, I don't recommend deleting these because this is obviously the user data. So that's going to be something that's very, very important. So in this case, we'll make sure to delete this one because I think I deleted the wrong one earlier. All right, so we have post category 1, post topic 1, and post feeling 1 all deleted. So now we're going to go into our app and we're going to make a sample post. We'll just paste title 1. This is going to help you kind of QA or do quality assurance testing. If you type in the name of each field here, you can make sure that it's tied to the right variable. So I'm going to choose category, and we'll choose the first one. If you remember from this list, these are the user side variables or elements. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, or whatever you have set. So we'll choose light, and basically we're choosing topic 1, category 1, rating 1. These are the ones that we have just deleted, and the reason I deleted them is you don't have them. You need to create them so that we can tell AppGyver where to search for this information. So we'll put details 1, and then you can find an image if you would like. So in this case, I will go steal an image from another post that I've made, and we'll paste it in here. Now this is where we test this page and see if it works. So we're going to click submit, and then nothing happens, or at least it hides everything, which is a good sign. So now we're going to go over here, and don't be scared if you don't see any content. Sometimes when you create a collection for the first time, you need to refresh the page to actually see that collection populate. So in this case, the good news here is we now see post category 1, and you'll see the information that we typed. And then we see post feeling 1, and this is all the information that we typed. And then post topic 1, and again, all of the exact same information. Now, if you see category, description, or any of these that are mismatched, you need to go back and make sure that you're sending the right data in the right order, with it being associated to the right page variable. So now what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to repeat this process for category 2, 3, 4, 5, topic 2, 3, 4, 5, and rating 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you need to do this for every category, every topic, and every rating. The reason is we need there to be sample data in here so that we can actually tell AppGyver how to get this information. So you need all of these categories, feelings, topics, any additional that you've added that I don't cover in this video, you need to do this same process with. So now what we're going to do is you'll need to probably pause the video and go do that. It doesn't usually take too long, but again, you're making a post for every category, topic, rating, etc. And then you can come back here. So now jumping into this next page, this is another one where you can have some variability too. So for topic 1 and all of the categories and everything else, we're going to run through how to get them set up. The first thing we need to do is we're going to click this Data tab. When you're in the Data tab, you'll see I have a ton here. Don't worry about that. So we're going to have one resource ID for the 5 categories, the 5 feelings, and the 5 topics. It's a pretty quick and painless process. So we're going to start with topic 1, and we'll just, again, you won't have these, so we're going to make them from scratch. So you're going to click Add Data Resource, REST API Direct Integration, and it'll take you to a page like this. Now I'll show you the information that you can type in. I'm only going to copy this first one into the description because there's only a small number of changes that you'll need to make. So in this case, we're going to call this resource ID topic 1 so that we know what it is. You can paste the description in, and then this is the resource URL that you're going to need. Now I'm going to replace this text with something like project name in all caps. Remember, this is the project name that shows up when you are in your Firestore database. So in this case, when we go home, it will appear right here. It could be just the original name like test123, but you're looking for the ID, not just the project name, because they're not the exact same thing all the time. They can be, but again, it's the information right here or what's to the right of the project portion of the URL. So in this case, you'll paste yours in here. So your URL will look just like mine, except right here will be your project name, or ID, I should say. And then we're going to go over to Get Collection. Now yours will look identical to this here. And all you're going to add in is a / and then the text post topic 1. Down here, you're going to type in the word documents. Then we're going to go over to test. When you click run test, you should get data here. Now, this is exactly why we had to make a sample post. In AppGyver, we're setting something called a schema. So that's basically telling AppGyver, go make a call to this database to post topic 1 and grab all this information. And then figure out how to separate category from its value, description, etc. So in this case, you're seeing all of this information here, right here. There is some extra stuff down here as well. If you are not getting that information when you run the test, check your security rules so that you can actually access the database and make sure that your URL is correct. If you didn't call it post topic 1 and you called it something else, or you renamed your collection, that can cause issues as well. And if you don't have any data there, it's not going to have anything to pull. So again, put documents down here, go to test, run test, and then make sure to click set schema from response. When you do this, click save. So you've set up topic 1, you've set up the data. Now you need to do the same thing for topics 2, 3, 4, 5. The cool thing about AppGyver is you can click here and click clone, and it'll create a clone of that, and you can just call it topic 2. And then you can go here and click topic 2. And then you can go here and click topic 2. And repeat the exact same process. Run test, set schema from response. It gave me an error because I already have that topic 2 name. So in this case, you're going to repeat that process that we just did for topic 1. And you're going to do it for topic 2, 3, 4, and 5. The only difference is in each one, you're going to call it that topic number. And you're going to change the URL under get, and you're just going to add that number. So topic 2 will just be called topic 2, description will be topic 2, and the URL will have post topic 2, and you'll repeat the process for 3, 4, 5 every single time, making sure to hit test, run test, set schema from response, and then save. Then we're going to repeat the process for categories 1 through 5. So in category 1, you'll call it category 1, description category 1. You'll paste in the exact same base URL. And then in get, it'll be / post category 1. Documents will be in the response key path. And when you go to test and click run test, you now have data. You'll click set schema from response and save. Now that you've done category 1, you can clone it and rename all 5. Again, we want one of these for each of the categories that we have set. So again, category 2 will be category 2, the number 2. The same resource URL is going to be used for all of these, but in this second tab, you will still use documents. The only change is just calling it category 2. And then lastly, we're going to do the same for feeling 1 through 5. So feeling 1, we'll just call it feeling 1. Feeling description is this. The resource URL is the exact same. And then the / over here is literally just post feeling 1. And then for feeling 2, it'll be feeling 2, and post feeling 2. Again, every time going to test, run test, set schema from response, and clicking save. So at this point in the data configurator, you should have an individual item for each of the categories, each of the feelings, and then each of the topics and any additional ones that you have set up. So go ahead, pause the video, get all of those set up, make sure they work. If you have any issues, this is a repetitive process, so it's really easy to forget to throw in the correct number, so you could end up having post topic 1 duplicated on accident. So just make sure that you're going through, setting the schema for all of them, saving everything, and then we'll keep moving. All right, so once you've done that, we'll set up topic 1 together. So the page for topic 1, you'll paste in your custom navigation menu, and then I have added in the title that just says topic 1. I have then added in text that just says see all the posts below. And here is where we actually get into a really cool AppGyver feature. Next, we're just adding in a container. So you may be wondering, why does it look like this down here? And we'll walk through that in a minute. Inside this container, which all you have to do is drag this and drop it in over here. Inside the container, you're going to have a couple of different things. So we'll walk through what this looks like. Ultimately, the structure for your container is you're going to drag over a row. And in both cells, or in the first cell, you'll have an image. In the second cell, you'll have text, star rating, text, and a divider. So to set that up, we'll drag over a container, and you can drop it in this tree if you want, or you can actually drop it in the page somewhere. So I will drop mine in the bottom of this page, and then we'll walk through that setup together. So the row component, you can grab and drop in right here. On the left-hand side, we will drag over an image. So you can find the image up here, drag it in, and make sure it goes into the cell. And then next thing we'll need to do is check the size of the image. So in my case, I've set under layout the width to 150 pixels by 150. To do that, just select your image, and then you can choose width and height, exact size, and then you'll type in 150 and hit enter, and then in height, 150 and hit enter. You can set yours to whatever you want it to be. Then we're going to follow what we've done up here, which is text, star rating, text. So we will drop in text, then we'll go to our installed components, and we will choose star rating, and then we will drop in text. Now it may look a little bit different, and that's because we've actually set some different content up here. But at least now we have the same structure. So you'll see we have row, cell, image, cell, text, star, text. And we've repeated that. Row, cell, image, cell, text, star, text. So now we actually have to set the values, but at the very least, right now, yours should look something like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually delete this whole container, because now yours should just look like this right here. Now the last thing you're going to want to drop in the bottom of the container is a list divider. So when we collapse the container, you'll see there's nothing below it. So to do that, you can just grab a list divider and you can just drop it under text, which is the last text item that we added. And it should show up right there. If you're ever confused about what's in the container, you can't tell what's indented, just collapse it, and if everything disappears, then it's all in the container. And the reason we're doing this is for actually two reasons. First, we can copy this to other pages easily. Second, we're going to repeat this container, so I'll show you what that means. But first things first, we need to set the content in the container and set the repeat and have it set up. So what repeat does is it repeats this item with every document in a given collection. So these documents are user posts. So every time a post comes in, it'll be displayed right here. So here we're going to click on our container. We're going to go to properties, and we are going to do two things. So first things first, if you don't know what repeat with means, we'll do that together. So I'm going to copy this function, which I will also paste in the description for this video. But you can go to click the button under repeat with, and choose basically how we're going to repeat this. So we want to repeat it with a data variable, and then we're going to go to data variable, and you'll see we have topic 1.1 available. If you're confused and you don't see a data variable on this page, I will show you why you don't have it yet. So we've added the data variable for topic, category, and ratings 1 through 5, but you need to add the data variable to the page. So if you click this slider and go to data variables, in this case I'll remove mine, and you can click add data variable. Now you'll see a list of all of your topics 1 through 5, ratings 1 through 5, etc. So in this case, scroll to your relevant topic, and you'll see it adds a second 1. Don't worry about that. It can be a little bit confusing, but the idea is it just adds a 1 to the end of it. And then you can click save. Now that data variable is accessible on that page. So for each of your pages, make sure you add the relevant data variable. Now, when we go to our container, we can click here and click data variables, data variable, and then you should only have one or multiple depending on what you've added to that page. So you'll select it and click save. What this is doing is it'll do a call and say, okay, Firebase, what's available in post topic 1? We only have one document. Okay, we'll just display this document. You can ignore everything that shows up down here. This is basically just showing that you have a data variable in repeat. So now what we're going to do is we'll select the first item in that list, and we can choose what it repeats with. Now before we do that, I want to make a note that in this case, I want to make sure that the newest topics appear first. I don't want them, sometimes they'll go in a really weird order, and I don't want to see them out of order and have old ones near the top. So if you want them just to show up in whatever order, you can kind of skip this part, but I wouldn't recommend it. So in this case, if I click this button again, and I go to formula, and I click here, you'll see the formula for the repeated variable. We're going to make a small adjustment to this, and this is what we're going to paste in. So you'll notice right here, data.topic11 is what's displayed right here. So we're still pulling the same information, but what we're doing is we're typing in order in all caps, open parentheses, data.topic11, or whatever your data variable for that page is. This is why I recommend you add the data variable the way that we've already done so that you can make sure that yours is named the same thing. But this is just the formula for your data variable for that page. Then we'll do a comma space, item.createTime, with the time, the T capital, comma space, desc in double quotes, and then close parentheses. So what this is doing is this is saying order, data topic 1 by the create time in descending order. If you want to see the documentation for this order function, you can type in order, and when you click it, you can scroll on the right-hand side and learn more about how this works. But we already have ours set up, so again, you can check the description. You will need to make sure to change this to be whatever the data variable is. So topic 2, you're going to put 2.1. For topic 3, it's 3.1. Topic 4, it's 4.1, etc. And then you'll do the same for category and all the other pages. So we're going to click Save. Now it's repeating them in order with the newest at the top. And then we're going to select the image on the inside of the container, and we're going to use this formula. This one I'm not going to put in the description just to be safe because it can be a little complicated and easy at the same time, which I know sounds odd. So it's going to be repeated.current.fields.imageURL.stringValue. Now, if this is a little bit confusing, I'll cut this out and just type in the word repeated, and I'll show you a shortcut. If you type in the word repeated and you scroll down, because if you remember earlier, we used that set schema from response, AppGyver has sample data to pull from. So when I click repeated, it's grabbing all of this information on the right-hand side, so we can scroll through and try to find something that looks like this. So we'll type in the text repeated, and then scroll through and find image URL, and you want the one underneath. If we click image URL, you'll see we have brackets and it won't read it. So when we choose the string value option, it only pulls that text for the string value. So we'll double click and click save and save. Then it'll pull in the correct image. Then we're going to click here. And if you don't have an image here, you may have an invalid URL, so don't worry about it. The next option is we're going to click here, and we're going to use formula, and we're going to follow the same process. We're going to do fields, title, string value. So type in repeated. We'll look for fields, and then you're going to look for whatever you called your title, and you're going to use the string value. So repeated.current.fields.title.string-value. And save, and save. For rating, we'll click the star rating, choose the maximum value, choose your icon, and then in the value, I'm sure you guessed it, this one may give you an error, don't worry about it, mine still seems to work fine. So we're going to put in repeated, and then you're going to find feeling.string-value. And save, and save. And then the last one is going to be a little bit different, and here's the reason why. We'll choose formula, and in the formula, we're going to put double quote, posted space by, semicolon space quote. What this is doing is something called concatenation. This text will always be displayed. So to look at the app and get just a general example or idea of what that means, when we look at this, it'll say posted by, and then this is the username. The reason we're adding in a space is this plus sign, these spaces outside of here aren't factored in. So you can put static text in double quotes, and then space plus space, and it's going to put whatever this is next to it. So in this case, we're going to put posted by, semicolon space in quotes, space plus space, and then repeat the same process for posted by. So it'll be repeated.current as we've done before, .fields.postedby.string-value. Remember, posted by is the value that's in Firebase. So this is what you're looking for, whatever you set yours up as. Hopefully it's something similar to reduce confusion. And then you'll just click save, save, and you're all set. Now, the reason we have this divider that's added in at the bottom is this container, this entire container, is duplicated every single time there's a document in Firebase. So, if we go to something that has multiple posts, we'll try to find one that has multiple. It'll have a divider in between each of them. That way they don't blend together. All right, now, the page layout on this page, and the others, there's nothing complicated on page loadout or page load. So what we'll do is we'll save our changes, and now you can go test it. When you go to your app, when you save your changes, it should refresh, and then you'll click on the next page, topics 1, topic 1, and you should see your original sample post now. Now, you're going to need to go and create the page category 1 and follow the exact same steps. I added in text, added in the next text, and then this container is actually the same exact container and setup. The only difference is right here, it's data.category11, and the rest of the content is identical. And then when we go to the content here, it's the same thing. And the reason is we're posting the same exact stuff to Firebase every time. So if you see when I go here, it's still repeated.current.fields.title.string value. So you can go to your topic 1 page, which should be right here, and you can actually copy this container, this repeated container, and drop it in to every page. So topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, topic 4, topic 5, and repeat the steps that we just did. So if we wanted to copy this into a new page, I'll show you the steps to do that really, really quickly, and then I'll let you go ahead and finish up your portion of the app. So if we wanted to make a new page, so let's redo category 1. So we've done topic 1 together. So we're going to copy this container, and we're going to go to page category 1. I already have this container set up, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. Go ahead and add in your navigation bar, your additional text, and then on this page you can just click paste. And it's going to paste the entire repeated container from the previous page. Now we're going to go to the variables slider. We're going to go to data variables, and then I'll remove mine so our pages look the same. And now we're going to add a data variable for our given page. In this case, it's category 1. We'll move the slider. We'll click save just to be safe. And now you need to make sure that you change the options for this. So this is, again, one of those things where it's going to be repetitive. You're going to have to repeat this process up to 13 to 15 more times, depending on how many pages you have. But now that this container is here, all you have to do is go here and swap out the data for category 1.1. You should only have this option because it's only what we added to the page. So you can double click that, and if you click into these, the red text should go away. So at this point, you're ordering data.category11 by createTime in descending order, and then everything else should be the same. When we click this item, it'll still be the correct repeated field. This will still be the correct field. So now you need to take this container and copy it to your feeling 1 page, and then add the data variable to that page for feeling 1. And then you need to click on the container and swap out the data for feeling 1, and then repeat that process for all of your topic pages, all of your category pages, and all of your feeling pages. To test that it's working, I would recommend when you create a post for category 2, make it something different, like post 2. That way, when it comes up to test that it's working, you can, we'll post all of these pages, and we'll click submit. Now, when we go to our topic page 2, you should expect to see that item basically in that page. So the idea here is category 2, you would expect to see post 2 at the top in every case, and then the same for category 3. So again, I know it's a little bit confusing. So one last summary before we kind of close out this video. You're going to want to take this container and drop it in every single page for all of your posts. So you should have at this point all of your topic pages, all of your category pages, and all of your rating pages. And then when you click on each of those, it'll take you to topic 1, topic 2, category 1, category 2, In all of those pages, you're going to drop this container. You will then add the data variable for that given page. And then you will click on this container and choose this data option, remove it and swap it for the one for that page, and then click save, and that page should then start working. So I hope that was helpful. That covered this page. In the next video, we will be closing out the series. There may be 1 to 2 more videos left, but basically we're going to be doing this boards page, and then we'll be working to close everything out. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment box below, and I'll see you all in the next video.